Welcome to the real law of attraction. There's a lot of videos on the law of attraction. There are books, and it's something that many people try to, use as the go-between, actual reality and, the spiritual world. It's like we know there's this power, there's this possibility that we have to do things, but we don't know how to really tap into it. We don't know how it really works. And we know when things that we can't explain happen, or when we put energy into something and we see the rewards, and it's almost a spiritual thing. And, people call it the law of attraction. You basically put out what you want and attract it to yourself. And we do this normally. This is not something that is like a power or something. This is something that we do on a normal basis most of the time. And for religious people, when it happens, they say it's God. So when you're struggling and the pressure is on you now, and this is what happens a lot of times, the pressure is on you, and you got to get up this money for rent, or you're running around trying to do something, important, and then it seems as if it's a struggle or it's hopeless, but you don't realize how much work and time you put in trying to rectify the situation, that you created an atmosphere to fix the problem. And thus, boom, it happens. And people say, thank God. And it's really the law of attraction. And you created the atmosphere. The biggest way of going about this is understanding how important believing is. Believing is one of the biggest keys to the whole thing, because having belief is going to shape how everything is going to happen. As I said before, the two worst things that you can have in your existence is doubt and fear. Plain and simple. Doubt and fear is going to hinder any type of progression that you're trying to make, inwardly, on a spiritual level. Doubt and fear will destroy that completely. It will be gone, because if you have doubt and fear, that's an internal thing. And it's one of the reasons why religion is important and plays a major role in controlling us, is because it really instills that doubt and fear within yourself. And if you're not putting energy within yourself, nothing is going to work for you. So getting into the law of attraction, what is that? What is that really? So most people think it's some kind of magical power, as I said, that you're going to have, that you can simply sit there and think and attract stuff to you. But there's a very real work behind it. And the biggest thing I'm going to be talking about through this video is creating that atmosphere that is conducive to what you're trying to attract. So why don't we as conscious people believe in the Bible? Why don't we believe in this stuff as conscious people? Why don't we believe in the superstitions and, all of the hocus pocus stuff the Bible talks about? Because it seems far-fetched. It seems not believable. It seems like what the Bible is talking about is fairy tale stuff. So this is one of the things. If you are a conscious, rational person, you understand that these things are not possible. It's something that is not possible. And it's going to take you being a rational, conscious person to attract or use the law of attraction. And if you want to attract something, then it has to be within the realm of possibility. So the thing is, we get so caught up in the system, and we're going to get into this in this video because it's really here to hinder this. And you may think, okay, if you broke today, you got $0. You probably thinking, well, 6 months to a year from now, it's impossible for me to become a millionaire. You may have the hope, but there's doubt within you that it's possible based upon the course your life is going. So you thinking like, well, I'm not going to be a millionaire next year. I'm not going to be a millionaire in 6 months. But there's a very real possibility that you can be. It's possible for it to happen. And as soon as you put into yourself that, doubt that it can't happen, nothing is going to come within your atmosphere, or you're killing the atmosphere that you need to create for this to happen. The biggest thing is, if it's not something that you're striving for anyway, it's never going to happen. Now, you're going to work. You have already committed to work. This is going to go over a lot of people's head, but a lot of people want to understand this. You're dug in. You dug into waking up. You dug into taking a drive or taking a bus. You dug into going to work and operating within that work environment and doing what you have to do work-wise. You're dug in. You dug in with a schedule, a time, bosses, supervisors, the people you have to answer to, customers. You're dug into that. That is in you. And it's one of the reasons why we call it the entrepreneurial spirit, because you have to have that in order to break out of this rat race. So the rat race have you conducive to your job, and the entrepreneurial spirit is a freedom. It's a freedom that you completely change your mindset away from these things, and then you're going to basically focus on you and use your own energy to create an atmosphere that's going to be conducive to what you want to succeed in or what you want to bring into your life. This is big. You got to understand this. So your atmosphere is created for you by something else. It's outside of you. You didn't create it. You accepted what you're in. We accept the system. You accept this job. And this is what you go about your day using your energy to fulfill. So the atmosphere you need to create to attract what you want is not even there. So if your goal is to be a millionaire by next year, but you're looking at your life and you're saying to yourself inwardly, you're lamenting to yourself, it's not going to happen. It's impossible. I got to do this. I got to do that. Then, like I said, you're destroying that. You're destroying the energy that you need to create for this to happen. And you're not programming yourself to make it happen, which we'll get into this as far as meditation. So it's not saying on the flip side that, if you're just super positive all the time, and you just always constantly say, because a lot of people who do this, some of you probably do it as well, and you try to focus your mind on saying, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do this, I will. Because you're saying that because deep down you're doubting yourself. Doubt and fear are two worst things. You don't really believe it. That's why you're saying it. You don't really believe it. That's why you're trying to, I will. This is not, you shouldn't go that route, because you have to be confident. You have to believe. So this is going to make a lot of sense. We get into the biblical part of this. And it's a reason why in the Bible, you have belief and you have faith. This is things we never really touched on in a lot of my videos about what this really is geared to that we're going to get into in this video. So belief and faith, two powerful things, but misdirected at the wrong thing. And belief and faith in what? If you don't have it in yourself, there's no point, because anything outside of you is not going to bring you what you want. It has to start with you. So if you don't have belief and faith in yourself, game over. You cannot move forward. You cannot attract what you want because you don't even believe you can have it in the first place. So we have been brought up in a system that is conducive to us having doubt, fear, worry, stress about very real things that's obtainable that we see all the time. And we have a system that gives us advertisements and commercials or what have you to leave us wanting for these things. So your recourse, your thought into getting these things is what? Go out and work. And you work hard, and many people can't afford the things that they see and the things that they really want, because your mind is not really focused on that thing. It's not the singular goal of your life. It's just something that you want. And now, since most people don't even know the singular goal they want in their life, they just want to make money. And the only way they know how to do this is to go to work. So this is what they do. Work. And then time passes. You never even get in create an atmosphere that's going to bring you what you really want. So by saying to yourself, I will, you're already putting doubt within yourself. Whereas a person who has, took the necessary steps to do what they need to do to get what they want, they're confident in their direction. They're confident. They're moving on to the next step. They're moving on to the next thing that they have to do, because they understand they already laid the groundwork for what they want. Now, example is this. If you want a job, what should you do? I'm going to go online. I'm going to apply. I'm going to go out and I'm put in applications. I'm going to pound the pavement. I'm going to look around. I'm going to search. And then eventually you'll get the job. But see, most people will say, well, of course he got the job, because he did all that work. He put all that work and time and effort in, and he got the job. But, you have to think about it. Even if you do all of that, the final decision isn't yours. And you're doing something that other people probably done as well, applying for the same job you apply for. How did you get it? And this is, again, one of the reasons why when people know you go to a job interview and you sit down and there's 6, 8 people waiting to get the job, and then you get the phone call, thank you, Jesus. But you didn't realize how much work you put behind that and its atmosphere you created. If this is something that you really needed, you already established a mindset that this is what I needed, and your mind is focused on it. You're stressed about it, you're worried about it, but you put in the necessary work to make it happen, and it happened. Work is an important thing. Now, you're going to have to decipher the difference between the law of attraction and works and deeds. And then you have to realize that they go hand in hand, that one cannot be without the other. So the works is going to create the atmosphere that you need for this, law of attraction to work for you. So it starts with building an atmosphere around you. As I said, if a job is what you're trying to attract, you got to go and pound the pavement and go and look. And as I said, to most people, you're going to say, of course, if you keep pounding the pavement and putting in a bunch of job applications, you will eventually get the job. And that's exactly the thinking you should have. Plain and simple. Of course, you should have that thinking, because now you're confident about what you're doing and the works that you put in to achieve your goal. You put the work in. So, of course, you should be thinking, well, yeah, I'm going to get this job. You shouldn't have the fear, the doubt, and the worry that you will not. When you put the work in, you pounded the pavement, and then your works is going to pay off. You should have this confidence, not arrogance. It's a confidence in what you have done in creating this atmosphere for yourself. Whereas fear and doubt is the hindrance of progress. Fear and doubt is going to kill any progress that you're going to have. And the biggest thing you can do to somebody when they're trying to do anything is to strip away their confidence and instill fear and doubt and make them worry. This is why so many people are depressed and they get super emotional when they see certain things, because, one of the things that people always tell me when I'm debating the Bible is, as I talked about this, people have a lot of hope and faith, in the religion working, because they have so much fear and doubt in their own lives, and they have to look to religion because they don't believe in themselves to accomplish any of these goals. They want something, special outside of themselves to, help them out. And the minute you do that, the minute you destroy the atmosphere that's going to attract what you want. So when people say to me, why do you destroy religion? Why do you talk about people's faith and their hope? Because I understand what they understand, that faith and belief, plain and simple, faith and belief in this religion is going to destroy any progress that you try to make for yourself. Because if at any moment you feel like you got to drop to your knees and bow your head and pray to this God for any type of help, then you have already lost hope in yourself. You have already come to a place to where you don't believe in yourself enough to accomplish this goal, that you have to drop and pray for something supernatural to happen in order for you to get it. So you have no faith. You have no hope in your own self. You have no belief in you. So you're not even creating, as I said, the atmosphere to attract. Like I said, it's going to make a lot of sense. You're not creating the atmosphere to attract anything to you, because you took that and put it outside yourself into something else that is not even real, that does not exist. So again, most of the time when we have things work for us and we pray, it's because the situation is so serious. And then you go do everything you probably should have done in the first place, and it works. And then people say, well, I prayed to God and it worked out. No, you created the atmosphere for it to work. You went out and did what you had to do to make it work. Studied last minute for the test. You studied, you crammed real hard, you passed the test. It's because the pressure was on, and then you finally did what you were supposed to do in the first place instead of procrastinating. This is why churches are in the Black neighborhoods. So you have to look at this whole thing and understand what's taking place. So you have a church that's in a poor neighborhood that people have been going to all their lives. The neighborhood is still poor. The church is still there. What's the problem? That should tell you right there the church is the problem, because there's been no progression in the Black neighborhoods. Many neighborhoods you go in still to this day, the neighborhood is the same. It might be a new Chinese store or a new convenience store, but the neighborhood is the same. Same stuff going on. And the people are still there, still in poverty, still poor, because they're giving their energy to this church, to this religion, and not to themselves. So common sense will tell you, you've been going to this church for years, trying to get your life together and trying to be successful. It ain't the church. So people go to church, but they go to work as well. And then you go to work and you make a little couple of dollars. You're able to get some repairs done on your house and, get some things done and go on vacation. And some people are content with that and believing that it's God helping them out when it's just you doing what you're supposed to do. It's stuff I talked about before. So you have poor people, you have working middle class people that go to church. They have two different types of prayers. Poor people just trying to get ahead. Working middle class people is hoping to pay their mortgage off and be able to go on vacation and get a new car. And there's two separate types of energies there. And you have to understand that the church is not going to do anything for them, for any one of them. It's only going to be their own works and deeds and the atmosphere that you create that's going to bring you out of those situations. It's just that simple. So the very real understanding of the law of attraction, it's you, plain and simple. Is you putting in the work and creating the atmosphere for something to happen. It's not going to happen if you don't do that. So if you're sitting and you're praying for something, thinking it's going to happen, or you think you're going to get it because you're a good person or because you want it, it's not going to happen unless you put in work. You have to create the atmosphere for it. So there's so many examples that we can give, because think about boxing. You want to be a boxer. How do you create that atmosphere? Well, you got to want to be a boxer. You have to be in the gym. You have to put time in the gym. You have to work towards your craft, towards your sport. Same thing with anything you do. Now, again, to you, it's going to be like, well, duh, of course. Where's the real law of attraction? That's because you're thinking the law of attraction is this power. And it is, but it's you. It's this very easy, understandable energy. And, energy attracts like energy. That energy is out there. So boxing exists, don't it? People have been boxing for years, haven't they? That energy is there. How are you going to attract it to yourself? Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to have the mindset of this boxing. I'm going to put in the works for boxing. I'm going to go to the gym and surround myself with that energy. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to bring it to yourself. It's going to happen. It's the same thing when we say, well, if you surround yourself with a bunch of successful people, you're going to be successful. 5 successful people around you, you're going to be number 6. 5 losers around you, you're going to be number 6, because that's the energy that is conducive to your atmosphere that you surround yourself with. Everybody going out robbing, they're going out stealing, they're not doing anything. They're trying to bring you with them at every moment. Anytime you try to do anything, next thing you know, you got something to do with them. But if you have successful people, everything that they do is rubbing off on you. They're giving you advice, they're giving you pointers, they're helping you create the atmosphere that you need to be successful like them. This is why it's important. And we say this, and it sounds so simple, but it doesn't register. It sounds simple to you, but if it's not registering and you're not applying it to your life, nothing is going to happen. This is going to go over so many people's head. You're going to be stuck in the thought of possibility. You understand? It's possible that you can get this stuff. And possibility is, what people do with religion. Well, God is all powerful. So the reason why we believe that any little stupid thing the Bible says is possible, because we believe God is all possible, and anything that's possible, he can make happen. So when we say stuff like, well, how does the Bible say that no man has seen God? And then it says, Moses seen him and Jacob seen him and Elder Solomon ate with him. See, people can't fathom that's a direct contradiction, but they believe in all possibility when it comes to God. So anything is possible. Stuff that's stupid, walking on water, surviving 3 days in the fish. They believe it's possible because God can do anything. They believe in those possibilities. So it's the same with the Bible. When you're giving your energy to religion, you believe, even though you're in a situation that seems impossible, and you're praying to this God because you believe anything is possible with him, just like the Bible says. And there's a possibility something good might happen for you. But the minute you do that and you basically give your energy to this religion, you basically kill any hope of creating an atmosphere to produce what you want. And then the law of attraction no longer applies to you. It's not going to work for you at all. You put the energy into something else, and that's where the energy is gone. That's where it's at. So now, of course, as a Christian, You can go to church and still, go to work and become a millionaire, become rich and be successful in life anyway. But those are because you put the works in and you put yourself in a position to where things can happen for you. You created that atmosphere unbeknownst to yourself. You just choose to give the glory, to God and give it to the religion. And that's not a lot of people that can say that. But if you're going to school, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and this is one of the reasons why I don't knock Christianity for certain people, because if you're using the religion as a moral standpoint, moral grounds for you to go and do what's right in your life, fine, so be it. It is what it is. You're not really hurting nobody. Unless you come and try to, push religion on somebody or try to say it's truth, then that's when the debate happens. But if it's guiding your life in a successful way, and unbeknownst to you, it's your energy, your works is really giving you the success, but you choose to give it to the book. This is possible. This is what happened. But as I said before, this is something that is rooted in belief. Belief is the biggest thing to all of this. You have to believe, and not I believe like religion, but a belief in the knowing, so it's knowing. It's like, I know I'm going to be able to do this. You believe in yourself, but you believe in yourself because you have put the groundwork in, you have done what you needed to do to make this stuff happen. So now, said all that, right? Go make it make sense now. So again, where did this come from? Just think about it. Where does this whole law of attraction thing come from? It comes from the Bible. Just that simple. It comes from the Bible. When you understand esoterically what the Bible is talking about, the Bible is full of the law of attraction. It's given it to you clear as day. So I talk about this a lot. And when you read the Bible, you'll begin to understand as you read what it's actually talking about. So I've given you guys, I've broken it up for you. Told you, God, Jesus, that is you. God and Jesus is you. Prayer is meditation. And how do you create this atmosphere that I'm talking about? Not just through works, but meditation. Because to do the works, you need to program yourself. This is a step-by-step guide. Don't get no more simpler than this. And I talked about this before, because how is it that you make certain decisions that shape the course of your life? And then we sit back and we wonder, why did I do that? Or how did I do that? And when I was saying before, when you're wanting something, this is something that you want so bad, you're going to go and do it. A person that's fat, they really get to a point where they take charge of their life and their whole focus is on losing that weight. And you will see a person go from 600 pounds down to 200 and something, because that was their sole focus. They was fed up. They put the time, they put the work in to lose the weight. And this is what meditation does. You can do this on a conscious level when you get to a point where you're fed up and you're just upset and you're mad. You basically snap, he said. But see, with meditation, you got to go through all the frustration. You just program yourself. And that's what it's about. So when the Bible's talking about prayer, and then look at how everything goes off prayer. What does the Bible talk about? Oh, when you go and you pray, you ask and you shall receive. Pray to Jesus, you'll get what you want. But prayer is meditation. So what it's in essence telling you, meditate. Meditate. Meditation is how you're going to build that atmosphere. It's how you're going to program yourself, as I said. So in meditation, you program yourself. You focus on what you want, how you're going to get it, and what you need to do to get it. If it's something that you seriously want, you will get it. Get that. Biggest problem right there. See, the things we want is not really our heart's desire. It's not serious enough. See, you can say, I want a Ferrari, but is it really that serious? You know how much it costs. Do you really want it that bad? No, it's a dope car to have, but you don't really want it. It's not something that's really super serious. You would love to have it, but you're not going to put yourself, in the atmosphere for you to get it, because it's not that serious. So what is that serious? Getting a job, putting food on the table, paying your rent, paying your bills, taking care of your family. These are the things that's important to us, and it's super important. So we do what we got to do for that. That's very important to us. That's something we say in our heart that we want, that we need to do, and we do it. You need to have this much money to pay the rent. You need to save this much money to pay bills. You need to have money to buy food. And this is something that we're serious about. and we focus on it, we make sure it's burnt, it's programmed within us to make sure we can take care of these things. Plain and simple. So with the Bible, meditation, with prayer, meditation, with the Bible, it's giving you the keys to the law of attraction. We're going to go through a few verses. But first understand, they know what church is. As I said before, I talk about it because I know what it is. I know what it does. They know the energy is going somewhere else. It's not going to you. You go to church, look at these people in church. They go crazy. Where is that energy going? It's gone to nothing. It's going to nothing. Two of the most powerful things that we see every day, we see it all the time. It's inspiration, motivation. These are two very powerful things because inspiration and motivation creates action. Just as I've talked about before, a fat person gets inspired. They get motivated to go and lose that weight. And they lose it. Fighter, inspiration, motivation to train hard. Basketball players, football players, anybody doing something that's involving, physical exertion or what have you, you need to be motivated. You on stage, you need a hype man. You need to be hyped to keep that movement going. You need to be motivated. These are two powerful things. Motivation, inspiration. You go to church. What's in church? Motivation, inspiration of what? God. Not you, but this guy who you don't understand is you. So the inspiration and motivation is going. All that energy, them jumping around, where is it going? Outward. So when we see them jump around doing the Holy Ghost, where is that energy going? It's coming from them so powerfully. They're going crazy and they're dancing. And then they go home and wonder why ain't shit changed. Because that energy that they just put out there, which the Holy Ghost is a real thing as far as the acts of the people. These people are not acting. Most of them. Some of them are. But most of them, that's a real, very real energy. We see it with Voodoo. We see them pull this energy out and it's so powerful. And it goes nowhere. For you to have the inspiration and motivation to trigger something so spiritual and to have that energy don't even go to you, but to somewhere else. It's crazy. And they understand this with church. That's why it's there. Because the energy is going to them. And they understand this. So when you read Matthew 21:22, it says, "In all things, whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive." Mark 11:24 says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you will receive it and it will be yours." Understand? So meditation is talking about, why do we believe the kingdom of heaven is out there somewhere? But the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you. Jesus says it, Bible says it, it's within you. But we believe it's out there somewhere. And it's because it's talking about consciousness, talking about the universal consciousness that's basically one with us. We are one and the same. So as above, so below. That consciousness is the one thing. It's basically the force that we're all tapping into to basically create what we want. So if you understand, the law of attraction, so to speak, or how stuff works, we say it all the time, put it out to the universe. But what you're doing is basically you're speaking it into existence by speaking it into yourself and using yourself to make it happen. So we always say, kingdom of heaven is up there. Bible tells us the kingdom of heaven is within you. And it's about, the way we have to understand that we are God and that what we want, we can manifest. And it takes this, atmosphere we need to create for the universe to bring it to us. So, people believe what the Bible tells us, Jesus is born, just like we are born. That's one of the reasons they put it like that him being born as a man is born, so you can understand that he is you. God makes Adam from the dust of the ground. It will make more sense for him to make Jesus from the dust of the ground if you're going to sacrifice the nigga anyway, right? But that, it's metaphorical. It's esoteric. Jesus is you, but Jesus is also supposed to be God. You are supposed to be God, plain and simple. Jesus says, "I and my Father are one." So praying to God is, your consciousness talking to your subconsciousness, which is in contact with the universal consciousness to basically attract what you want. You're putting it out there, but you have to have works and belief in the entire process in order for it to work. And when you do this, you create the atmosphere for possibility, for possibility to happen. And then now, because you have meditated, you're doing this in meditation, and you're programming yourself. Now, the big thing happens, as I said before, choice, which is what it's all about. Now, you're not understanding, you programmed yourself. You don't realize that now your movements, what you do in your physical life is going to be based upon that programming. So now the choices that you are going to be making is going to be conducive to the atmosphere that you created that's going to allow you to attract what you want. So now your choices, whether it be train hard, put in those job applications, study hard, work hard, pound the pavement, study hard, figure out how you're going to get these loans or get these grants, repair your credit, save money, whatever it may be. You program yourself to do it. You have this singular drive and focus now that's conducive to the atmosphere that you created, that's based on possibility and choice. So now with meditation, all of this is possible. So now you're walking in your programming and you're making choices that's going to benefit you later on. This is how you should live your life, people. And this all has to do with self. And you have to understand that this system has been designed to destroy self. Plain and simple. Everything is fake. Everything. It takes you away from self to now when you're by yourself, you don't even want to be by yourself. You can't even stand yourself. You don't like yourself. You're trying to be conducive to a system, not to yourself. Not conducive to an atmosphere that you created, but conducive to an atmosphere that has been created for you to fail. So we have trends. That's not you. That's something somebody created. You got to fit in. That's not you. That's you trying to be fake to fit in with other people and other things. That's not an atmosphere that you belong in, that you created for yourself. You're trying to fit in. You don't want to fit in. You want everything to be you. Peer pressure, acceptance, all the stuff that we go through and deal with from day one when we get into school. We want to fit in. We want to be cool. We want to be popular. And we want people to like us. So we change, we alter ourselves to be something that we're really not. And a lot of times people don't figure this out until they get it. And then they realize it's not them. This is not who I want to be. And it's one of the biggest things you can do to destroy any type of, benefits for yourself. The law of attraction definitely will not apply to you in this system. So that's why it's given to us. The whole hip hop culture, everything that we follow is given to us for that reason, for us to be a part of that and for us to give our energy to that and not create an atmosphere that, is conducive for what we really want. Now you're all over the place. You got to try to be successful. You love hip hop. You're trying to fit with that. You're trying to keep up with the trends and the culture. And then we have this whole thing where we say, I'm being real. I'm being real. I'm keeping it real. And I think everybody strives to do that, but it's not something that's logical if you're conducive to a system that is not you and not to your own system. You know what I'm saying? So your own system, what you create, is going to be basically your goals. Again, this stuff is going to sound very simple because it is. And the law of attraction works because you built this very simple atmosphere that's easy for you to follow. And then simple things create, lead to bigger things. You got to crawl before you walk, they said. You got to build these steps up to get what you want. It's a process. It's going to take some small steps and then eventually you'll get there. But if you built the atmosphere, if you set up everything, if you know where you're going and how you're going to do stuff, you can't fail. It's set up. You're straight. Keep yourself away from anything that's going to hinder it. Don't be conducive to anybody's system but yours. Don't be trying to fit in. Why you blowing money that you don't really have? Why are you hindering your atmosphere or changing your atmosphere when you don't need to? Then you're hindering what you really want. And again, if you don't know what you really want, you're never going to get it. So this is for you, for those people who want to start a business. You want to be successful. You want to get married. You want to make yourself better as a person. You want to build a better life for you and your family. This is where the law of attraction plays into all of this. Because one, you have to program yourself to do it. You can't just be out there walking and just living. Now you're living in an atmosphere that somebody else created. And they're programming you because they know you're not programming yourself, as I talked about. So again, this is all meditative stuff. Program. Give it the program. Your program. You meditating, you programming yourself to do exactly that. Plain and simple. So training yourself. And this is what it's about. So law of attraction really starts with, as I said, it starts with you. It starts with you really giving yourself that energy and understanding what has taken place when it comes to us as a people, because they know something about us. Like I said, that we don't know about ourselves. And they created this system, and we're in this system to keep us, basically where we are, plain and simple. So everybody's conforming to the trends, to the culture. Everybody's conforming to what we see on social media and, our life. Everybody knows you being fake as hell if you don't accept that. Everything is about the culture. It's about the trends, the hip hop culture, so on and so forth. And it's one of the things, again, the Bible tells you, Romans 12:2 basically says, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your mind. What is it talking about? It's talking about meditation. It's talking about you programming yourself because it understands the system that's in place. So you have to transform your mindset, the renewing of your mind. What does that mean? That's you understanding what's taking place and you letting go of all the programming that you've been programmed with and accepting your own programming, training yourself to walk in the path you laid out for yourself. The renewing of your mind is understanding that you are God. You are Jesus. Plain and simple. And they understand that the law of attraction does not work for them. It only works for us. Plain and simple. Because if it worked for them, they wouldn't need us. Slavery would not have happened. So you need to understand that, okay, if you have a people and you understand that they have the power, it's something I talked about before. If you cannot create the energy to control reality, you have to control the people that can. And this is what this is about. So if you understand the law of attraction is real and that these people have it, you have to hinder that.